All right, we're on Chapter 3, Section 3. It's Learning Plan 2-3 about linear equations with two variables. We're used to ones with one, but with two variables. So we're going to write an equation of a line if we have its slope and its intercept. Then we're going to graph that equation, write an equation given a line and a point on the line. So last time we did graphing them. Today we're going to write the equation. Write the equations of horizontal and vertical lines. It's probably going to have something like x equals and y equals. Write an equation of a line given 2 points on the line. Write an equation of a line parallel or perpendicular to a given line. And then we're going to model data in real life. In our textbook, as I said, this is section 3.3. First off, how do you write an equation if you're given its slope and its y-intercept? Now we use the letter m for slope and we use the letter b for y-intercept. Y equals 4x plus 8. This would be the slope. This would be the y-intercept. When we graph it, we would start up here at 8, and from there we would go up 4, forward 1, and there is our line. So let's get busy and see how it's done. Once we isolated the y, we found that the slope was the coefficient of x. So one way that we could find the slope of the line is, if you remember from last section, if we had something like excuse me, x plus 2y equals 4, if we get the y all alone, so first off we're going to subtract x from each side and then divide both sides by 2, we get y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. This would be the slope, and this is the y-intercept. Okay, so if you notice, here's where the slope or the intercept is, b, and the slope is m. So we find the point on the y-axis that it crosses, and from there do the slope. A couple ways to look at the slope. Slope is either y minus b over x minus 0, or y minus b over x. Okay? That's a way to do it. Or we could just have y equals mx plus b. Okay. So whatever number is in front of the x coefficient is going to be the slope, and then the intercept is the other number. Here we go. Write the equation of a line with the slope. Y equals 2x minus 3. This is the y-intercept. This is the slope. So you do this one. So y equals 2/3 x plus 1. 1 2/3. Here you go, try this one. Now it's not this first one because it doesn't have the negative sign. Here it is, negative 5/2 x plus 8, not minus 8, not minus 8, and it's got to have the plus sign, the minus sign, excuse me. So, how do we graph those lines? First off, it says using the slope and the y-intercept. Now, I'm going to tell you this. We could graph this line. I'm going to switch colors here. We could graph this line by the way we did it last time. X, y, 0, 0. If x is 0, y is negative 2. If y is 0, x is negative 4. We could graph it this way. Negative 4, 0, and 0, negative 2. Okay, we could do that. But they want us to use the slope and the intercept. Okay, so 2y equals negative x minus 4, right? We get the x to the other side, divide everything by 2, and we get y equals negative 1/2 x minus 2. Intercept, I'm going to change colors here. Intercept is negative 2, and from there go down 1, forward 2, and if you notice, you get that exact same line that we would have done given the other direction. Now, I personally, when I see an equation and I know how to graph it, I would use that form. But since they want us to switch it into the slope and y-intercept form, whatever, we'll do it. Okay, you graph this one. So we get the y all alone. 3y equals negative 4x plus 6. Move the x to the other side. Divide everything by 3. Y equals negative 4/3 x plus 2. So our intercept is 2, and from there go down 4, forward 3, and there's our line. You do this one. Okay, so 4y equals 17x plus 2, negative 17x, excuse me. Y equals negative 17 fourths x plus 1/2. 2/4, which is 1/2. So we're going to start up at 1/2, and from there go down 17 forward 4. How about if we go down 17 fourths and forward 1? Here's 4/4, 8/4, 12/4, 16/4, 17/4 forward 1. There's our slope. Right, oops. Right there. Okay. Now, this one is in the slope-intercept form, so this one is easy to graph. Here's our intercept. Here's our slope. Go down 1 from that, forward 2. Okay, and draw the line. You do this one. I'm going to change colors. I don't like this color. Okay, so our intercept is 5. And from there, go up 3, forward 1. Up 3, forward 1 is the same as going down 3, back 1. I'm going to do that so that I keep it on the graph paper. Okay. Now, if you have an equation, we want to write an equation given its slope and a point on the line. All right. They say to take the y and put it in here, the x and put it in here. All right. So let's see how you would do that with the point slope form of the line. Which page are we on? Write an equation of a line given its slope and a point on the line. Here we go. Thus, the equation of a line with a slope of 2, 5 passing through the point 3, negative 4. So here's the way they tell you to do it. Y minus negative 4, we substitute this in here, equals 2/5 times x minus 3. Put the 3 in here. All right, so multiply this out. You get 2/5 x minus 6/5. And then this is y plus 4. Subtract 4 from each side. You get y equals 2/5 x. And this is, if you wrote that as fifths, it would be 20/5. So minus 26/5. Okay, that's a way to do it. Let's see if there's another way. through the point 3, negative 4 with a slope of 2/5. Yeah, I can think of a million ways to do it, but I'm going to just show you that since we know the slope is 2/5, we could say 2x minus 5y equals something, right? Because the slope we can translate into this if we change the sign, right? But we need to know what that something is by substituting in here and here. So we would have 2 times 3 minus 5 times negative 4 equals what? 6 plus 20 is 26. So another equation that's similar to the one that we just wrote is 2x minus 5y equals 26. You know, which one is easier? Callie, I don't know. It's all the same. Yeah, I don't know which one is easier. Okay, you do this one. All right, so we write y minus negative 3 equals negative 1/5, and make sure you put in the parentheses x minus 5. Y plus 3 equals negative 1/5 x plus 1. Negative 5 times negative 1/5 is positive 1. Subtract 3 from both sides. You get y equals negative 1/5 x minus 2. Okay? Y minus negative 6 equals 8 parentheses x minus 5. Y plus 6 equals 8x minus 40. Y equals 8x minus, subtract 6 from each side, 46. Okay. Here's, I think, the easiest way to solve this type of problem. I'll show you right here. It's called Method 2 on page 163. I'm going to change color so that you can see it in a different color. Let's use this one. Okay, so we would write negative 4 equals 2/5 of 3 plus b. That just gives us what b is. Okay, so I substituted in. Instead of writing y, I wrote negative 4. Instead of writing x, I wrote 3. So negative 4 equals 6/5 plus b. Subtract 6/5 from each side. So you get negative 26/5 is b, and that's where you get y equals negative, or 2/5 x minus 26/5. We could do the same thing here. Negative 3 equals negative 1/5 times 5 plus b. Negative 3 equals, multiply this, you get negative 1 plus b. Add 1 to both sides. You get b is 2, I'm sorry, negative 2. And that's where you get this formula right here. Okay? Now, what do you do if you have a horizontal or a vertical line? Well, a horizontal line has the equation y equals b, and the vertical line has the equation x equals a. So if you say, write an equation of a line passing through the point 2, negative 1, that satisfies the given condition. So an undefined slope, in other words, it's a vertical line. A vertical line is going to be x equals 2. A horizontal line is going to be y equals negative 1. Whatever the y coordinate is, whatever the x coordinate is. You try this one. Undefined slope, x equals 4. slope 0, y equals negative 4. What do you do if you have an equation that you only have 2 points and you have no slope given? Okay, here's the example that they give, and they say they want it in standard form. Whatever, we can do it in standard form. That shouldn't be a problem. The first thing we're going to need to do is to find the slope. 4 minus 6, I did the y's, over the x's. 1 minus negative 2. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. 1 and 2 is 3, so our slope is negative 2/3. Now we can choose either point, but we want it in standard form. Remember that for standard form, this is our x coefficient. I shouldn't do it that way. I'll just do negative 2x. I'm sorry, we have to change the sign. So it's positive 2x plus 3y equals some number. And we aren't going to call it b because that's the intercept. We'll call it c. Now, substitute in our x's. We get 2 times negative 2 plus 3 times 6. What do you get? This is negative 4. This is plus 18. And so c is 14. So our equation is 2x plus 3y equals 14. Now let's see the way the book wants you to do it. They would say find the slope, which we did, y minus, let's use this point here, y minus 4 equals negative 2/3 x minus 1. So this is negative 2/3 x plus 2/3. We want the x's all on this side, and we want the 4 over on this side, so we'll get y plus 2/3 x equals 4 times, well, this is 4 written as thirds is 12/3. So 2/3 plus 12 more thirds is 14/3. Usually they like to not have a fraction, so let's multiply everything by 3. I'm going to change colors here so that you can see it. And you get 3y plus 2x equals 14. I personally like this way of doing it much better. I personally would have left it not in the standard form. We could have its own form, and it is perfectly acceptable to have this form right here. That is a form of the line. It's actually called the point slope form of the line. Okay, so you do this one, but they want it in standard form. First off, we're going to get the slope, change in y, negative 1 minus negative 4 over change in x, negative 2 minus 3. This is the same as plus, so the numerator is going to be 3 over negative 5. So our standard form would be 3x plus 5y equals c. We have to find out what this c is by substituting in one of these 2 points up here. Let's choose this point right here. 3 times 3 plus 5 times negative 4 is c. 9 minus 20 is c. So c is negative 11. 3x plus 5y equals negative 11. Now, if you wanted to do it the way the book does it, that you would be just fine doing it that way too. I'm going to change colors. You would have y minus 3 equals negative 3/5 x. I'm sorry, it's not y minus 3, it's y plus 4 equals negative 3/5 x minus 3. I just had the 3 in the wrong spot. So y plus 4 equals negative 3/5 x plus 9/5. Change this to fifths. Multiply the top and bottom by 5. You get y plus 3/5 x. We switch the x to the other side. Equals 9/5. And then this will be minus 20/5, which is negative 11/5. 3/5 x y plus. And remember that you multiply everything by 5, so you end up with this equation anyway. Standard form. Okay, so you do this one. Slope first, negative 5 minus negative 8 over 0 minus 5. This is negative 5 plus 8, which is 3 over negative 5. So we would have 3x plus 5y, remember we have to change the sign, equals c. Let's substitute in this point. 3 times 5 plus 5 times negative 8 is c. 15 minus 40 equals c. So c is negative 25. Here's our equation. 3x plus 5y equals negative 25. It's letter A. Now, they want us to do an equation of a line parallel or perpendicular to a given line. Well, remember, parallel means it's going to have the same slope. Perpendicular means it's going to have the negative reciprocal slope. If we're going to write it parallel, it's going to have the same slope. 2x minus 3y. The only difference is instead of it equaling 10, it's going to equal something else. What is that something else? Well, we substitute in that point. 2 times negative 8 minus 3 times 3. What do you get? Let's call it c. Negative 16 minus 9 more is c. So c is negative 25. 2x minus 3y equals negative 25. But they asked us to give it in slope-intercept form. So our best bet would have been at the very beginning to just get the slope. The slope of that line is 2/3. Now let's substitute in our y. 3 equals 2/3 of negative 8 plus b, because all we're looking for in that case is b. We've got the slope, we've got the point, we just have to figure out what b is. 3 equals negative 16/3 plus b, so we're going to add 16/3 to each side. This is 9/3. 9/3 and 16 more thirds is 25/3. So y equals 2/3 x plus 25/3. Now, it also wants us to give the equation that is perpendicular to that line. So I'm going to change colors here and do the perpendicular one also. Okay, perpendicular means instead of the slope being 2/3, it's negative 3/2. Still the same point. 3 equals negative 3 halves of the x, which is negative 8, plus b. 3 equals 24 halves, which is 12, plus b. So subtract 12 from each side. Oops. Come on now. Minus 12. You get b is negative 9. So we would go back to this equation right here. Y equals negative 3 halves x minus 9. There's where the 9 goes. There's where the 3 halves comes from. Remember, that's the negative reciprocal of the slope. And we know what y and x are. Okay, you do this one. Let's assume that they want it to be in the standard form. If they do, then we would write 3 times 6 minus 5 times negative 1 equals c. 18 plus 5 is 23. So if it's parallel, our equation will be 3x minus 5y equals 23. Remember, if they're parallel, the only thing that changes is the c value. Let's try doing this problem and searching for the standard, or the point slope form. We get the slope here as 3/5. Remember to change the sign. So y, negative 1, equals 3/5 of x, which is 6. That's where these come from, plus b. 3/5 of 6 is 18/5. This is negative 5/5. Subtract 18/5 from both sides. You get negative 23/5 is b. So our equation will be y equals our slope, 3/5 x minus 23/5. Now they want you to give the parallel in this case. And you can see that they want to have the standard form. So we have to get the slope first, 7/5. This one can't be right, this one can't be right, and this one can't be right. So the only one that's left is a. That's the only one that's got a slope of 7/5. Y, 5, equals 7/5 times negative 6 plus b. This is negative 42/5. This is 25/5. Add 42/5 to both sides. You get 67/5 is b. So y equals our slope, 7/5 x plus 67/5. All right, now for this one, we want the line perpendicular to it, and we want it says in the slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. So first of all, we have to get perpendicular. Well, the slope of this line is 2/3. So the perpendicular line, the slope will be negative 3/2. Remember, it's the negative reciprocal of the slope. And we want it in the slope-intercept form, so we're going to substitute our point in. 3 equals negative 8, it's still the slope, times negative 3/2 plus b. Cancel here, you get 4. Negative 3 times negative 4 is 12. Subtract 12 from both sides. You get negative 9 is b. So y equals negative 3/2 x minus 9. Once you recognize that the slope of a standard form is just the a over the opposite of b, you're going to be in like Flynn. Okay, part A, we want it parallel, so the slope is going to be 3/5. -1, substitute in y, equals 3/5 of x, which is 6, plus b. 3/5 is 18/5. This is -5/5. Subtract 18/5 from both sides. You get -23/5 is b. So our first equation will be y equals 3/5 x minus 23/5. Now we want it perpendicular. I'm going to change colors. Perpendicular means the m is going to be -5/3. We have to take the reciprocal of the slope and make it negative. Now substitute in our point y, -1 equals -5/3 of 6 plus b. Cancel here, you get a 2. This is -10. Add 10 to both sides. You get b equals 9. So we're going to write this equation as y equals -5/3 x plus 9. Our intercept is going to be right there. All right. Try this one. Since it's perpendicular, we're going to take the slope of this one, which is 3/4, and make it the negative reciprocal, -4/3. So our line is going to have the slope of -4/3. It's not this one, or this one, so it's got to be C. Let's substitute in our point 8 equals -4/3 of -3 plus b. These cancel, and so you have 4, because the negative is positive. Subtract 4 from both sides. You get b is 4. So y equals our slope, -4/3 x plus 4, our intercept. So you see the slope-intercept form, the point-to-slope form, the standard form, the horizontal line, and the vertical line. They teach you that the slope is -a/b, but then they never do anything with it. That's the thing that's frustrating, is they never do anything with it once they do. And the x-intercept is c/a, the y-intercept is c/b. So if we wanted to write this equation here in the standard form, we would just write y equals the slope 3/4 x, and then the intercept, it says, if you notice here, the intercept is c/b, c, -23/b, 4. So minus 23/4. I don't know. It seems really easy if they would have used those things in the standard form, but they just didn't. I use this one when I want to graph quickly. This one I always use with 2 points. This one is really easy to use, except for if you're going to use a graphing calculator. It says the slope must be calculated. I just don't think so. The slope is right here. You just have to change the sign. All right, so real data, that's what it's all about. Suppose there's a flat rate of 20 cents plus a charge of 10 cents per minute to make a phone call. We want dollars to be y, and we want minutes to be x. So our slope is 10 cents per minute. Okay, 10 cents, and our minutes is x. Y equals 0.10x plus, now it says there's a flat rate of 20 cents. That is our intercept. So this is the equation. Y equals 0.20x plus b. I'm going to do number 7 in the textbook. It says a local gas station charges $3.20 per gallon. Total cost is just the number of gallons times $3.20. So cost is $3.20 times x, the number of gallons that you use. Actually, I would use C equals $3.20 times G for gallons that you use. That'd be the way I would do it. And then our vertical axis would be dollars, and our horizontal axis would be gallons. You know, oh, and this one that was our problem that we're doing in example 7. If we were going to graph that, I'm going to change pen colors here. Oops. Let's use this color. It's our y is cost, dollars, and our x is minutes. Okay, you do this one. Okay, so we have y equals $85 per month, 85x plus $100. I would have used cost is 85 months plus 100. Actually, I'm not so sure I would have used m for months because m always means slope, and I don't want people to get confused. How about this one? Flat fee is $30, so plus 30. Slope is 44x, so y equals 44x plus 30. It's letter A. This one. 0 is 1950. X is 10 is 1960. So 2007 would be x is 57. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. We want the equation that models the data. Okay, so the first thing we're going to have to do is determine that we need to find slopes here. All right, I tend to use the first point and the last point. So the slope is a change in y, 85.7 minus 34.3 over the change in x, 2007 minus 1950. The denominator is 57. The numerator is 51.4. So that's our slope. The equation then will be, substitute in one of our points, y, 34.3 equals 51.4 over 57 times x. Let's let x be 0, since it's 1950, times 0 plus b. Well, any number times b is times 0 is nothing. So our formula, our b is 34.3. So y equals slope 51.4 over 57 times x plus our intercept is 34.3. Now they probably want you to simplify this. That comes out to about, I don't know, 0.9 or 8, something like that. I don't have my calculator here. Okay. So 2004 and 2008, they want us to use that for the data. Okay. I wonder if we're supposed to let, yeah, so X is the year, I'm not sure which year if we're supposed to use X as 0, or, which one are we doing here? X is 0 is 2004. So we'll say X is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And then this will be Y. So our slope is, the denominator is 4 minus 0. Numerator is 2372 minus 2079. Denominator is 4, that's easy. Numerator is 293. Over 4, which is 73.25 x. And then the intercept is plus 2079. Y equals 73.25 x plus 2079. And then figure out what the tuition will be in 2009. 2009 is year 5. So we take 73.25 times 5, add 2079, and we get 2445. Okay, so let's use this one. 251 minus 220 over 6 minus 4 is 31 halves. Substitute in 220 equals 31 halves times 4 plus b. These cancel, you get a 2. 220 equals 62 plus b. Subtract 62 from each side. You get b is 100. This is 8. 6 is 158 is b. So y equals 31 halves x plus 158. So in other words, in year 0, the cost was $158 billion. Okay, so do this one. 251 minus 183 over 6 minus 2. 251 minus 183 is, let's see, 8. 468 over 4, which is 17. So y equals 17x plus b. We have to figure out what b is. Let's substitute in one of our 2 points. Let's do this one. 183 equals 17 times 2, which is 34. Subtract 34 from both sides. B equals 100. This is 9. 7 minus 3 is 4. 149. So y equals 17x plus 149. And how much would it be in 2011? So if 2002 is 0, 2011 is 9. We're going to substitute in 9 here. 17 times 9 is 3, 6, 153. 153 and 149 is 2, carry the 1, 0, carry the 1. $302 billion. Ooh, they have 336. I must have multiplied wrong. Someplace. 2011. I'm not sure where they got, which year number is 2011. I just assumed 2011 was a 9. It might be 2000 was the number. It doesn't tell us in the problem which year is 0. Oh, it does too. It says 2000. In the book, it said 2000 is year 0. So we should have put in an 11 here instead of a 9 there. Okay, this one, all the information is given. X is 1960. So our 1960 to 1990 is 30 years. 2190 minus 1693 is 497. 497 divided by 30 is our slope. If you press that on your calculator, I don't have my calculator here, but I'm going to guess it's about 10, 18, 16 and a half. Somewhere around 16 and a half if you pressed it on your calculator. Well, they do have 497 over 30. So they left it that way. And then plus 1693 is year 0. Okay. So the correct answer